Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Gucci blushes. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I'll do my best to reply back. Each blush retails for $49 at Sephora and Gucci online, and it comes in 6 different shades. I do want to read a little bit about these blushes on Sephora's website. A buildable blush for cheeks and eyes with a hydrating ultra thin powder. I've never purchased anything from Gucci before. This is my first makeup item from them. Hopefully these blushes are good. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Gucci. Right underneath that it says cheeks and eye powder. You get 5.5 grams of product or 0.19 ounces. Up at the top you have the shade name. This shade is 01 Silky Rose. On the side of the packaging there's nothing printed. Same thing on this side, there's really nothing there. On the back of the packaging, it states these blushes were made in Italy, and right below that you have the list of ingredients. Next to the barcode, it states this product has a 24-month shelf life. This is what drew me to purchase all 6 shades. I love the stars all over. This packaging does have a little bit of a weight to it. The packaging is kind of bulky in my opinion. Here's what the back looks like. And you have the shade name printed. Here's what the shade in Silky Rose looks like. You have the Gucci embossed in the center, and it does come with a mirror. Let's swatch it. Ooh, it feels so soft in the pan. Here's what the shade in Silky Rose looks like. Here's what the first shade looks like. Ooh, that swatched really smooth on the back of my hand. Let's blend this out a bit. This shade might be a little bit too light for me, but let's see what it looks like applied on the cheek. Using a clean blush brush, I'm gonna dip into the first shade. I'm getting a little bit of fallout. Here's what the shade in Silky Rose looks like. The shade is very subtle. It looks very natural on the cheek. I do want to see if this blush is buildable. Taking a little bit more on my blush brush. Here's what it looks like built up. This shade is so pretty. I want to see how the blush applies on my eye. Taking a clean fluffy crease brush, I'm going to dip into the blush once again. I'll just sweep it into my eyes, going back and forth, doing windshield wiper motions. Here's what it looks like applied on my eye. I love a good monochromatic look. The next shade is 02 Tender Apricot. Here's what the shade in Tender Apricot looks like. Such a beautiful peachy shade. Oh wow, that is beautiful. Let me blend this out. Gorgeous. I will be using the same blush brush to apply all the blushes. I'm just going to be taking the Sephora Quick Dry Clean Spray to clean off my brush. Now that my blush brush is nice and clean, let's apply the shade in Tender Apricot. With this shade, I'm not getting much fallout like I did with the first shade. Let's see what the shade in Tender Apricot looks like. Here's what the shade in Tender Apricot looks like. I did have to go back in 3 to 4 times to build up the pigment. This shade is beautiful as well. Let's see what the shade in Tender Apricot looks like applied on the eye. Again, I'm using that same eyeshadow brush. Here's what the shade in Tender Apricot looks like applied to the eye. Again, you can barely see the shade on my skin tone. The third shade is called Radiant Pink. This shade is stunning as well. Here's what Radiant Pink looks like. Wow, that is pigmented. Another beautiful shade. Let's see what it looks like applied on the cheek. Again, I'm not getting much fallout. Here's what the shade in Radiant Pink looks like. Again, it's beautiful. I applied 2 coats. It's really pretty, and I like how these blushes are buildable. Let's see what it looks like applied on the eye. Here's what it looks like on the eye. Again, it's stunning. Next up, we have 04 Bright Coral. Wow, another beautiful shade. Look how pretty that is. Here's what Bright Coral looks like. I thought this shade would be a little bit brighter. Let's see what it looks like applied on the cheek. Again, not a ton of fallout. Here's what the shade in Bright Coral looks like. Another beautiful shade. Let's see what it looks like applied on the eye. Here's what it looks like applied on the eye. This shade is stunning as well. The second to last shade is called 05 Rosy Beige. This is my type of shade. Here's what the shade in Rosy Beige looks like. That shade is so pretty. Let's blend it out. That's beautiful. Let's see what the shade in Rosy Beige looks like. Again, I'm not getting a ton of fallout. Here's what the shade in Rosy Beige looks like. I thought this shade would be a little bit darker since it is a deeper shade. Again, I did have to apply 2 to 3 layers for it to show up. Let's see how it looks like on the eye. Here's what it looks like on the eye. I'm loving how these blushes look like applied to my eyes. The last shade is called 06 Warm Berry. I think I'm gonna love this shade. That is so pretty. Oh wow, that is super pigmented. Out of the rest of the blushes, yes. Look at that pigmentation versus the other shades. Let's see what the last shade in Warm Berry looks like. Again, not a lot of fallout. Here's what the shade in Warm Berry looks like. This shade is super pigmented. Definitely go in with a light hand. Now let's see what the shade in Warm Berry looks like applied on the eye. Here's what the shade in Warm Berry looks like applied on the eye. Again, this shade is very pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. Here's what all 6 blushes look like swatched on the back of my hand. My final thoughts on the Gucci blushes is that I really do like them. The lighter shades, I did have to apply 2 to 3 layers for it to show up. I like how these blushes look like on my eyelids, not necessarily on my cheek. I feel like I have better blushes in my collection. This shade in Tender Apricot is too light for my skin tone. I think I'll be giving this away to a friend. The only shade that I absolutely loved was the shade in Warm Berry. It was the most pigmented out of all 6 shades. For $49, I definitely think these blushes are a splurge. The packaging is a little bit bulky in my opinion. I wish they would have made this a little bit thinner. I really do like the design on the packaging. Let me know in the comments down below which shade was your favorite and if you plan on picking any of these up. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.